Oh, we're finally back to finish this adventure that we started around the world. Oh, boy. Welcome to The Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where the tea is piping hot. I almost forgot the intro for a second. Ooh, Lord, it's been that kind of day. The tea is piping hot. We're always ready to spill. I'm Logan, just a gay. Caffeine. That's it.
I don't know what to say. Hello. I'm Lana, your resident diva, here to get all the tea and spill it too. We are here talking about the Amazing Race finale. So I'm excited.
Got the tea for the finale, if you will.
If you will. I mean, it's been a journey for these players, and they have traveled around the world, or
all over Europe,
as much as the world as they could possibly do. And you know, it was a great ending to an amazing story, and so yeah, let's talk about it.
I actually really loved this finale, honestly. Like, for how, for lack of a better term, blasé the last couple of episodes have been, just with non-elimination. Elimination we didn't want. Non-elimination. Elimination we didn't want. As blasé as that's all been, honestly, I thought this finale, the final two legs, were kind of, intense a little bit.
It was closer than I thought it was going to be.
It was way closer than I expected it to be.
It was closer than I thought it was going to be, and I feel like a few missed opportunities could have changed the whole situation, and it was just I mean, I figured I knew what was going to happen, how the order of things might happen, but I was pleasantly surprised with what actually happened. So
very that. So we do start in the penultimate leg. We are still in Thessaloniki, Greece, but they are getting on the good old Amazing Race private jets because we are headed to Lisbon, Portugal. I honestly, as much as Thessaloniki was lovely and as much as Corsica was lovely, kind of wish they'd spent more time in Lisbon.
Yeah,
because Portugal is on my top 5 places to visit.
Portugal's beautiful. I would have loved them to spend the last, maybe not the last 2, because we always have to come back home, but another leg, 2 legs in Lisbon would have been or somewhere in Portugal would have been beautiful. Absolutely. So we could see more of the seasides of Portugal and more of the island. I just loved seeing all these different places because I think that's what draws me to the Amazing Race, seeing all these places that I just never would possibly dream about going, but then watching it on TV is now I can dream about it because I can see it, and it's I would love to visit that. I would love to go there. So yeah, they're in Portugal, in Lisbon, and they get off their private jet and they go off in groups still because it's the legs of the race that makes it happen. And so Kayla and Raquel leave first. And they head off to do, they're told it's going to be 2 roadblocks, so be careful. And they're headed off. Go ahead.
I wrote down the destination because I was I want to get the destinations right for at least one of these episodes. So they went to the Fortaleza de São Felipe. The fort of San Felipe. Roughly. But they get to start at the replica statue of Christ the Redeemer, which love.
I love that because like I didn't even know there was a replica statue of the same one that's in Brazil. And so now that I know that, I'm like, and Phil,
it makes a lot of sense, you know,
right,
Brazil, Portugal,
Portugal
yeah.
and Brazil. I'm like, okay, I see that. Because see, this is what I love and learning about, you know, different cultures and different things in different places, that a lot of places have statues of other places, like replicas of other statues. Like even here, we have a replica of a statue in Birmingham that is supposed to be of, I can't remember. Oh my God, now it's leaving me. It's somewhere in this world. It's another statue, a bigger statue of this the Vulcan statue that we have here, and it's
I know. I think I know which one you're talking about. Yeah,
but I can't remember where. But I love that, you know, places do those kind of things to honor culture and cross countries and things like that. I love that. And so seeing that Portugal has the same statue as the one in Brazil, which you always see when you see Brazil, that statue,
it's always Christ the Redeemer.
Yes, it's always, and it's a lovely statue. It's a lovely statue, and the fact that I just love learning new stuff. This is another reason why I love The Amazing Race.
Right. Well, I was gonna say the one that sticks out to me is the replica of the Eiffel Tower in Paris, Texas. That's the one that I always think about. But yeah, so they are starting out from the Christ the Redeemer. They are headed to the Fortaleza. And Raquel and Kayla leave first. However, our good sisters get lost again.
Again.
As you know, I feel like every team at this point has gotten lost at multiple points, except for Kim and Penn. They are pretty good at navigation, if you ask me,
because they know how to read a map and they know
we'll
when to
talk about maps.
Oh
boy,
we will.
Oh boy. But so Kim and Penn actually get to the fort first. You have to go up to the top, and then there's a little shield situation with obviously the gold and red, where you have to look out in your surroundings and find your next location. And it's very vague and it's very like
far.
Very far. But in the distance, you can see a good old golden red flag.
This triggered me a little bit. These challenges, these little things triggered me because I'm like, if I went on The Amazing Race and did these challenges, I could not see that little red and gold flag off in the distance from the rooftops.
We would have gone home in Portugal, Lana. We would have gone home.
Because we would have still been looking like, where is that?
We still would have been on the top of the fort or at the second roadblock. Like, no, this was a test in vision, and my vision's fine, but not great by any means of the imagination.
I lose every time, honey. So, but Kim and Penn finds it rather quickly. And they're off. And as they're leaving, Raquel and Kayla finally finds the place. They're like, oh, there's Kim and Penn, and they're leaving. So they run up and they find the place. They find it. And Aruna and Natalia leaves third.
They do, yes. They, for once, are not leaving last.
They're not leaving last. They lose third.
They get lost.
And then they get lost, which is not a surprise to anybody.
Nope.
Because they always get lost. So the boys who leave fourth pass them.
Yep.
And finds it first. And yeah.
The girls and the guys end up there at the same time.
At the same time.
They're helping each other. Because at first, Raquel and Kayla kind of like run past and they're like, wait, is that it? No, I don't think that's it. I don't think the giant yellow and red flag is really our clue. I'm like, y'all, I swear to God.
Then everybody leaves. Kim and Penn make it to the roadblock first.
Yep.
And the roadblock is you have to find a Portuguese explorer on these rowboats. Some are actual explorers and others are just random people or some celebrities of some sort?
I was going to say, I think they're all Portuguese people. They're just not all explorers because, like, obviously, Cristiano Ronaldo was on there.
Mm-hmm.
I think
UN guy, was he Portuguese?
I believe so. I believe the two that were wrong, I think were like a poet and like the UN Secretary General who's from Portugal.
Okay.
I believe.
Well, it makes sense that all of them be from Portugal, but
sure,
yeah, but some of them were celebrities or did other occupations of some sort, and then there were 4 explorers.
Yeah,
and so they had to pick the right boat.
Yep.
Row it out to the fishermen. If they had the right boat with the explorer on it, the fishermen will give them a clue. So Kim grabs hers and jumps in this boat, and she finds the boat
at random.
Literally was like, this boat's pretty. I'm gonna get in it.
Literally, I'm like, oh, okay, girl, go. Okay. Now see, here's the difficulty, because I was thinking, like, if you and I were on the race, it'd be like, like, would I probably wouldn't have done this one because the second one probably would have been better for me to do, but because a little bit more vision, just a little bit more vision. But also, like, neither one of us would have been good at either one of these roadblocks.
I would have been like, I don't know who these people are. And everybody, they were like, oh, it's definitely not this Cristiano Ronaldo because he's a soccer player. I'm like,
do you not know who Cristiano Ronaldo is?
I would have picked that one because I don't know who the heck that man is. I'm sorry to that man.
Lana.
But I don't know him. I don't watch soccer. I don't know that man.
Sure. I do, so I
don't know him, so I would have been like,
he's hot.
They showed a picture of him, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess cute.
He's like, for context, for people that don't know sports like Lana, Cristiano Ronaldo is like one of the highest paid soccer players in the world.
First of all,
one of the best.
Wait. We need to clear up something real quick of that last comment, what you just said.
I know you know sports, just not soccer.
I'm about to say, we are not going to be on Beyonce's Good Internet defaming my character saying I don't know sports. No,
I know sorry sports. I defamed you on Beyonce's Good Internet, Lana.
I know sports. I don't know soccer. I don't watch soccer. But I know sports. Okay.
Sure, no. Okay, yes. Soccer. We don't know soccer.
Right. Thank you.
Clarification. I'm so sorry that I defamed you on Beyonce's Good Internet. I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
Not my thought process in the slightest. Okay. I actually knew a couple of these because I'm like I bring up all the time. I'm an art history student, but I've taken a lot of history courses to supplement that. And so learning about like the 12, 13, 1400s, I recognize Vasco da Gama because that's a name that I've heard more than once. And then there was, I think the one that, who was it? Ryan ends up getting. I don't remember his name, but I recognized it. That's with Vasco da Gama. It was Raquel then. Whoever Raquel had. Don't remember his name, but I recognized it in the moment watching the episode, and I wrote that down. I was like, oh, I know this person, but I don't remember their name. But
yeah, mine would have been like Kim in this moment. I would have been like, oh, this boat's cute. I'll pick this one. Because honestly, I had no idea who any of these people were. But Kim picks hers, and she has a little issue trying to get the rowing going situation. She's like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing something. And she's rowing, and she rows out, and lo and behold, she picked the right boat. First try. Get the right boat.
She picked the pretty boat, and it was the right one.
It was the right boat. She got it.
Did we talk about, I'm so sorry, at the fort, did we talk about how the girls and the guys were there? They were leaving, and Rune and Natalia were coming in, and Raquel was like, no, hurry, let's go. And I'm like, that's a shady move, Raquel, but okay, go off.
I mean, I get it. See, this is my thing. I'll help you out at the beginning of this race. I can help people out, it's over there, fine. But this is Final Four. There is no room for error. If I'm if come in front of me, then I'm last. So no, I would be shady too, especially when I know that the boys are right there behind me, so they can run and pass me up. And no, I don't think it was shady. I just think that she just did what she had to do.
It's the final leg before the final leg, so right. I get it. Like
I would have did it too. Like, let's go, don't tell them. But yeah, so Kim picks it and finds the right one. Great. So they're off, and then so Raquel goes and she does it, and she picks the right one. She was like, great, history taught me something. I'm glad I studied in school. She picked the right boat. Ryan, Arun is there first. Arun gets there before the boy. Arun and Natalia gets there before the boys.
Because I remember this because they showed the good old map of the seaside.
Because the boys went
make a left,
and everybody else made a right.
I'm trying to mirror it. Left.
The boys made a left, and the girl and everybody else went right, and that was the way to go. So the boys got lost. Of course, somebody always gets lost because this is what this season is about: people getting lost.
But it doesn't matter that Arun gets there.
No, because Arun picks the boat, and then Arun can't row the boat. He's literally spinning around in circles at this point, and he just can't row the boat. And he can't row the boat. And he can't row the boat. Then finally, Ryan comes in, jumps in the first one, goes and starts rowing that boat, and he is flying past Arun while Arun is still going around in circles.
I will say his biceps look real nice.
Oh, Ryan looked very good. Look, I've never taken away that Ryan is a good-looking man. It's Dusty I don't like. Ryan I like. Dusty I don't like.
We'll talk more about, as I've written in my notes, white man yelling.
So
talk about the white man yelling.
Ryan gets in the boat, takes off. That like a rocket. He is gone. Gets to the fisherman. The fisherman says, "Nope, not the right one."
I think he had the poet. Yeah,
he picked the poet. So he has to go back. So he's like, "Oh, well, gotta go back." Choop, choop, choop. He's just rowing. He's rowing, and Arun is sitting in the circles. And then Arun is like, "Oh wait, Vasco da Gama. I know that one."
Yeah, Vasco da Gama. Yeah.
He's like, "That's the one. I know that," but he can't row the boat back to get the one.
And so
by the time he gets, no, he doesn't even get there. Ryan just roots on in, cuts off, ties the boat up, jumps off his original boat. It was like, oh, okay, this boat then. And Arun is in the middle of the water. You took my boat.
I'm like, no one stole anything from you, Arun. You're not capable enough to row this boat back and get the right one.
It's like, you took my boat.
He pissed me off more than I think he ever has in this episode. I was like, no one has stolen anything from you.
I don't even think
learn how to row a boat.
Yeah, I don't even think he was saying stolen. He was just like, dang it, that was the boat I was going to choose. You took my boat.
It was like you stole or you took. I don't remember which one.
No, he said you took my boat. You took my boat. And he was like, he took my boat, but not as like acute, like saying he did something wrong. He's just like, I'm trying to get back to that boat. That's the boat I wanted to take. That's like you driving around a parking lot and looking for a parking space and you see a spot open. You see a spot open like 3 lanes and it's 2 cars in front of you. Like, I'm gonna get it. Dang, that's somebody took my spot. He's like, you took my spot. I don't think he was accused, but whatever. He could not get back fast enough to get the boat. Ryan jumps out, grabs that boat, and is off again. And Arun is still spinning and trying, whatever. So he finally, in the boat he has, rolls out. It's not the right boat. It's the UN secretary. So he has to go back and pick another boat and do it again. It was a lot. And this is where I was like, you know what? this is what I suspected to happen. This is what I thought was going to happen.
This feels
And it
correct as
happened.
to how they end their journey, with everyone not being able to paddle a boat.
I knew that this was going to happen with them. I'm like, who's going to be in the top 3? I already know, because it's just not them. So they go off to the next roadblock. This roadblock, well, they have to go to not the roadblock first, because they have to go to
they drive to, I wrote it down. Merciara con fianco de Troina. Something along those lines. Some words like that. And we have to paint some sardine cans on some doors.
Paint sardines. Like, who knew sardine cans was so big in Portugal? But
I love it, though. I'm a big fan of that. Sure.
I mean, if you like sardines, then great.
I don't love them, but I love Caesar dressing. So it's like one of those things.
I don't like either. I don't love them or Caesar dressing. So
that's fair.
But they have to go and pick up a can and paint it on the door. And first I was like, oh my God, you want me to paint this stuff on the door?
You want me to freehand this mermaid?
This mermaid? Are you sick or what? But then when they get to
find out there's an outline.
Oh, it's just a paint by numbers type deal. Okay, got it.
Okay, I want to talk about this for a second, because everyone, when they get there, so it's Kim and Penn first, and then the flight attendants, and then Rusty. And each one of them is like, oh, let's pick the easiest one.
Right. But then
none of them pick the easiest one, because the people that got the easiest one
was Arun and Natalia. I was looking at the one that they were picking. I'm like, why are we not going for the dang boat and the water?
A whole big section of black, straight lines, 3 colors. Blue. I'm like, that's where I'm going.
There's blue, black, and white, and some yellow in there.
Literally, I'm like,
that's it. What are we doing?
Like, honestly, the hardest one, in my opinion, was Ryan.
Was Rusty's. Yes. I was like, are you kidding me with that one?
And this is where a lot of the panic that we hadn't seen from, of all teams, Kim and Penn, starts popping up, because it's just small details that they're missing. This
literally
is the kind
just
of challenge. This is the kind of challenge that I would,
literally just filling in little dots and filling in the letters was the details that they were
spaces in between letters.
In between letters, it was just like they were missing the littlest of the tiniest of minute details.
Yeah,
you were saying this is the challenge for what?
Oh, this is the challenge that like I would excel in. It's art, and it's like details, and like that's where, and I felt very synonymous with Penn. I want to talk about Penn in 2 instances. The first, I was going to bring it up when we were at the fort, but I don't know if this was brought up previously on this season. I'm not entirely sure. We find out that Penn is colorblind.
He has said that before.
Okay, I must have missed it then.
Yeah, he had mentioned it.
Remember.
He mentioned it earlier in the race about being colorblind. He was talking about his ADHD as well.
Well, that was going to be my second. Yeah.
He mentioned that, and then he had mentioned him being colorblind, and then now he was like very excited that the colorblind Penn found the yellow and red flag.
Very that. But then, him talking about, or Kim was even like, Penn, I need your ADHD brain, and I was like, I can relate to this so hard, because I also have ADHD, so I understand exactly, because like with me at least, and I think similarly with Penn, like we have the ability to hyperfixate on things for short periods of time and make sure that like it's exact replicas. It's almost like sort of a photographic memory in a way. I know at least I have that at certain times. I don't know about anybody else, but like, and I've had this happen to me since I was a kid, and I recently realized that this was all ADHD, and I was like, everything makes sense now. I get it. But I loved that it was just like so nonchalantly brought up, because like a couple seasons ago, it would have been something that wasn't even brought up. So like the fact that this is being brought up, I was happy to hear it.
Yeah.
And that's really all. And I like Kim and Penn. I've come full circle. I like them. But they start panicking a little bit, because they get like 2 or 3 checks, or they get 2 checks, and they're not getting it.
And as they're getting their second check, Raquel and Kayla are getting their first check, and it was like, you're good. And it was like, what?
Yeah. They chose, in my opinion, they chose the second easiest one because it was a lot of big sections of color.
Big sections of big lightning bolts and octopus.
It was
there was their second check. They had to do it twice.
They had
because they missed
tentacle.
the little tentacle from the octopus that they missed. But yeah, it was like, so they got their second check and they were done, and it was like, woo! Yep. And so that's when we saw Kim and Penn start to panic a little bit because they saw the girls leave, and they were just like, okay, we got to do this. We got to figure it out. Rusty, on the other hand, who picked this very hard one with these fish and these different colors and all. It was a lot. And they were like, but this is the thing. They were really good and doing really well and had everything except they kept the doorknob. They did not paint the doorknob. And I'm like, oh, that would frustrate the heck out of me.
If I lost a chance at $1 million because of a doorknob, that would have been the worst, the absolute worst way to go out of The Amazing Race,
right?
By far.
But the Kayla and Raquel get theirs and then they leave.
Yeah,
and then Kim and Penn finally figures out what they're doing wrong, and then they leave and they get theirs. Ryan and Dusty are still struggling with this doorknob. They just don't see the doorknob. And by this time, but at first they're like, it's okay, we can figure it out. Arun and Natalia's not here yet. And then Arun and Natalia finally shows up.
Because Arun finally got out of that damn boat.
Finally got out of that boat and made it there. And they finally get there. And they are... they're just painting. They picked the easiest one to be. And they're going. By the time Ryan and Dusty figure out that they have the doorknob, Arun and Natalia are like 80% done with their door. And but Ryan and Dusty figure it out. They paint the doorknob, then they run and they go. So they on to the next roadblock.
They are, and this is the moment where it's time to talk about Mapgate, Lana. Because Kayla leaves their map at the roadblock.
They just left it.
Or not even the roadblock, at the task.
At the task. Mm-hmm,
just left the task. Mm-hmm. It's like, who needs detours anymore? We're just doing tasks. Because I don't think there's been a detour in the last like 3
No, it's not been a detour at all. It's just a task.
Okay.
Just do this. Sure. Do this thing.
But yeah, so Raquel is freaking out over this map. She's like, we need the map, but we need the map. Like, we need a map though. Like, map. Did I mention map? In case you didn't know, we don't have our map. And I'm like, girl, find a damn gas station and buy another map.
Can I just say, I would have been Raquel in this situation. I would have been
Kayla. Like,
I would have been freak out about the map because I'm like, who didn't grab? Why didn't we grab the map? You know, I can't do anything without my map. Where is my map? Somebody got to go get me a map. I would have been freak out. Like, I
mention map.
I need my map. But I also would have been like, ain't no way we going all the way back to that task to go find that map. Neither. We just go pick up another map. I'm like, but I would be like, we need the map. No, we can't go and just try to free fall this and figure it out. So let's just stop at a store, at a gas station somewhere, and pick up a new map. But that would have been the first thing we would have done, is to go find a map, because there's no way I was going to try to navigate this Portugal cities, and I don't know where I'm going.
Well, while Raquel and Kayla are getting their map, Kim and Penn end up passing them and get to the Santuario do Cabo Especial.
Oh, look at you! So doing your thing. You're just so
honestly
amazing.
Eurovision has taught me a lot of pronunciations about like European languages.
Honestly. We love it. We love that for you.
We do truly love it. But Kim and Penn get to the second roadblock of the day first, and it is who's down for the count. Yes. When they opened the clue, I genuinely thought that the like question for the roadblock was, who hasn't done the roadblock yet? I genuinely thought that's what was printed.
That would have been funny.
On the clue.
That would have been funny and would cute. Like, who hasn't done the roadblock? This is you. Okay.
Yes.
But
you didn't do a roadblock today? Here you go.
This roadblock is crazy though.
This has to be one of the hardest roadblocks in years.
It would have drove me nuts because look, thank you, Phil, for informing us that it was 106 pillars in this place. Right. Because if Phil wouldn't have told us it was 106 pillars, I would have been like, I'm not counting that. They just got to tell me when it's right because I don't know. But Phil let us know it was 106 pillars and they had to count it. Now, but they couldn't go out of this box, this rectangle of stones that prevented them from going further. So they could only stay in this place and count all these pillars. Now, for someone like myself, the farther that goes, the more I'm like, I have no idea what's down there. I don't see it. I don't know it. I can't do it. And Penn felt the same way because Penn is like, the older I am, my vision is not as strong as it used to be. And Penn struggled. Penn struggled. He could not see. And because the light was shining on one side. So it was easy to see one side fully. But then it blurred the other side because it shaded the other side. So that was the difficulty in this challenge in trying to figure out. So Penn is like counting, guessing. His first guess was 113 or
16. Yeah. I was going to say, aren't the sides the same number of pillars? Because I would have tackled it a very similar, if I were to do this one, which, if Lana and I ever end up on The Amazing Race and we do this exact challenge, ideally I'd be the one doing this. Even though while I was watching it, I started getting really nauseous because of hyper fixating on far away things triggers my vertigo. And so I was getting I literally had to pause watching the episode, step away from my TV for a second, and then come back because I was like, oh no, this is not cute. But I would have kind of taken it more of an analytical route. Okay, let's see if I can count this. Let's count in sections and then find a common place in case I miss or in case I lose my place. It's oh, this is a mile marker or a monument or monument.
No, mile marker is good. A marker.
Mile marker. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I was trying to go for. A mile marker or something, so I know how many I've been doing. Because at one point, Penn just turns it into a marathon of guessing. Because once you guess, you have to run all the way back
and then come back.
And it seemed from what they were saying, it was about a quarter mile, which isn't bad. But if you're doing it so many times. In Portuguese heat, that's not a cute moment.
And it looked like it was on a hill too. So, yeah. But so Penn is struggling. The girls get there shortly afterwards. And Kayla is like, okay, let's tackle this. She gets down and she gets on the floor and she's like, I'm going to do it in 20s. 20, 40, 60. 80, 100, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna go, and she's off. And
she gets it on the first try.
Penn's behind her, and he comes behind her and says 110 or 12 or 11, whatever he said.
Something.
Still wrong. Kayla's and Raquel are off, and they're to go to the lighthouse. The monk points them in the direction of the lighthouse. Then they're like, we're going to go. So finally, Penn finally gets it at his 106. And they're off too. Not too far behind Kayla and Raquel.
I have a question for you, Lana. No. If on the off chance, worst case scenario, you're the one doing this roadblock because, things happen and maybe I'm rowing the boat. Who knows?
Okay.
Would you have thought to immediately rule out any odd number based on the fact that the two swings looked very similar? Because I thought the same thing. When everyone was guessing odd numbers, I was like, there's no way it's an odd number.
There's no way it's an odd number because it's the same amount.
If you can see at the very end vaguely that they're they start at the same place. And if you're looking at your like close end and they end at the same place, then I would have immediately just gone, okay, I'm going to count one side, double it, try that, see if it works. Like that's immediately where I would have gone.
I would have done the same thing because I'm like, the side that I could see, it has to be equal to the side that I can't see. So if it's whatever the number is, if it's 60 on this side, it has to be 60 on the other side. But whatever that number is,
53, I think.
53. So 53 on this side, and it has to be 53 on this side, which makes it 106. Like that only makes sense to me. And I would have, if I didn't do it the first time around, I would have like, okay, stop, think about this, Lana. I would have had to, because if I didn't come in like, okay, it has to be equal to both sides because my mind is racing and I'm trying to just hurry up and finish.
Sure, yeah.
So after I ran and got it wrong, I will come back and be like, okay, hold on. Because I don't want to do that run again. So hold on.
Yeah, the other thing that I was thinking, this might just be me at home sitting on my couch watching this instead of like actually being in the moment. I don't know if I would have done any of this in the moment, but I think the other interesting thing that I maybe would have done, or at least considered, was you have this whole rectangle space. If you're trying to count one side, why don't you go to the furthest possible point on the opposite corner? Like I would have gone to that front left corner because that's going to give you the best optics to see all of it as much as you possibly can, and then try to count it from there. Or do it from the front right corner if you're going to count the left wing. Like Penn was kind of doing that, but he was on like the ground on the right side, and it looked like he was counting the right side, and I was like, that makes no sense at all. But like the corner is going to give you the best possible angle to count as many of them as you can. But again, I don't know if I would have thought of that in the moment, but sitting on my couch at home, that's what I thought. So
I mean, sometimes that's it. Like in that moment, in that, that's perfectly fine. But so then after PN gets it and Kayla gets it, they're off. Kayla's running, they're off, and they're trying to find the path. They don't know if they're taking the right path to get to the lighthouse. Once again, navigation is not their strong suit. And they're trying to figure it out. They don't know which way to go, blah, blah, blah. But Kayla and Raquel makes it first to the mat, and they are told that they're going to go to the final three, and they get a trip to St. Lucia.
I believe. Yeah, I believe so.
They get a trip to St. Lucia. And so, congratulations to the two of them. Kim and Penn closely follow behind them.
And they try to fake us out with this like, oh my God, who's going to get there first? I'm like, y'all.
No, we know, but whatever. So then the boys make it to the roadblock, and Dusty is doing the block, and he's like, whew, my vision is not the way it used to be as a kid. I'm 38 years old now, so
I would have never guessed. Also,
I would have never done 38 either.
Not at all.
But good for you.
Looking good for his age. I'm not mad.
Good for you. And so he's looking and he's counting, and he does it once and didn't get it right.
Yeah.
Then he goes back and counts again, and then he gets it right.
No, he did 3.
Oh, he did 3. Okay.
So Penn got it in 7. Kayla got it on her first, and Dusty got it on 3. Because the first time he guessed like, I think it was like 108 or something.
He was close every time.
He was really close every time.
I think it was 103 too. He was like 103, 108. Something like that. Yeah.
It was like tapping around it, but then he gets it.
So then he goes, and they are third on the mat. Natalia gets it as they edited. We think Natalia got it on her first try, and so, but it was too late. They were fourth place, and they were eliminated from this race.
Well, they really tried to edit in when like Dusty was doing the counting. They really tried to edit in and make it seem like Arun and Natalia had like a shot.
Yeah,
when clearly they didn't. Because then we see Ryan and Dusty make it to the mat, and then if Arun had because I don't even think if Natalia had done the first one, I don't think Arun would have been able to. No. If they had been more competitive in it,
yeah.
I still do think Dusty would have been able to get it over Arun. But I think, obviously, as we saw, Natalia got it on her first try. So
yeah, it really came down to Arun just not knowing how to row a boat and picking the wrong boat. Like, if he would have picked the right boat on his first try and knew how to row the boat properly, they could have still been in the fight. And they probably would have made third.
And they also got their painted door on the first try, too. So it's like, everything was just going well for them together. It's just Arun being a major handicap for Natalia.
Yeah.
And like, honestly, part of me kind of just wishes she had done it with her husband. Like, honestly, I think she probably would have fared better.
I agree. But she was trying to do this with her dad. They were super fans, and they had a little good moment. It was nice, and they were very excited. They were happy that they got to do this and get this far in the race after they've been eliminated the first time. And so Arun and Natalia were eliminated.
We love seeing the super fans though, and we love seeing a father-daughter because that's also not a pairing we see very often anymore. So for as much as they frustrated us this whole damn season.
Oh my God, did they ever?
Oh, they finally got eliminated.
Yep. So we say goodbye to Arun and Natalia. And then we are back on the plane.
Now, what was this?
I don't know. I don't know. Why do we get
Phil Hogan?
Why did Phil become the
steward?
The steward or stewardess of the plane and have to do the announcements?
Because, okay, so here's what got me. Because you see the final three teams at the back of the plane doing their thing, and Phil is given his good old spiel, being Phil, doing Phil things. Phil stuff, Phil shenanigans. And then the entire front of the plane is clearly production and camera crew because they're all wearing masks.
Yes.
And I'm like, y'all don't do this. No.
It's literally like, I'm like, Amazing Race. We know that this was a special season. Things had to happen that were different, and but yeah, we get it. You had to be on your own private plane, but let's not act like that ain't the whole production in front of everybody that we don't.
I mean, I'm gonna miss seeing Phil on my TV. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Watch Tough as Nails.
No, I tried. I really did try. I'm not a fan of it.
I actually like it, but I'm just like, I get lost. Not lost it gets lost in my schedule. So sure. I forget to watch it. But I've tried a
few. It's just like, from the episodes I've seen, and the other ones might not be that way, and I might just be judging on like the 2 episodes I watched, but it seems like all of the men in the competition always like discount the women in the competition, and I just don't like watching that. I like forced myself to do it on Big Brother because it's Big Brother, and I know the show, and I know what to expect going in.
Same with Survivor.
And Survivor, and not always Amazing Race. Not really as much Amazing Race, but it still happens.
It still happens.
But yes, we're on the private jet. We're headed to LA.
Los Angeles, California, people.
They really could not have picked a worse place to go in the middle of the pandemic. I'm like, y'all chose a major epicenter for this? If it was me, I would have been like, we are going to Iowa City, Iowa. Like, we are headed to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Like,
I would have picked someplace very like a bigger city, but smaller than LA. Like, come to Birmingham. Or go like to like Minneapolis or something.
Minneapolis would be cute, yeah.
Just not a major city. Like, don't go to Chicago or New York or Miami.
Baltimore.
Go to Atlanta.
Sure. Yeah, I feel like
it's a city. It's big. It has a lot of places to go. The traffic is horrible, but that's
to
like
Phoenix.
Go to Phoenix. I mean, do that.
They did a season where the final leg was in Phoenix. I remember that because I was like, I know where that is, and I know where that is, and I know where that is. I was like, oh yay! I don't remember which one though, but I was like, oh good. But yeah, I was like, why are we headed to a major epicenter of the Panda Express? During this time,
I mean, they could have went to Austin, Texas. Something.
Austin, anywhere in Texas would have been a little bit better.
But whatever. They went to LA though. So yeah, sure. They went to LA.
Yep.
And they all left, started at the same time, which I found very interesting. I'm like, why are we doing this now?
Don't they typically, in past final legs, don't they all start together?
I don't think so. I think it's still
I haven't watched another season of Amazing Race in a while, I'm going to be honest.
No, I think it's literally, you still leave in the order that you came in. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong.
Or isn't it like you all fly back together on the same like flight or whatever,
right.
So it's a fair game or something? I don't remember.
Yeah. But I guess maybe since they all flew back, because I do think once when they leave a place, they all end up on the same flight anyway. So
yeah,
but
they all conveniently end up on the same flight back to the U.S.
Right,
that makes the most most logistical sense. So
so they make it back and they go to L.A. And so the first thing is they're on these rooftops of the Westin Hotel. Mm-hmm. So they're at the Westin Hotel. Look, I have a Westin like 10 minutes away from me. So
I have a Westin like 20 minutes away.
So they're at the Westin and they're on the rooftop and they have to find the clue box, and there's a lock on the clue box. They have to find the code on the clue box, but the clue that they get is look up and down, go up and down, or whatever.
And what goes up and down in a hotel, Lana?
An elevator.
This was sneaky, though.
It was very sneaky.
I had heard that this was... So I ended up watching... I watched the last 20 minutes of this live. Mm-hmm. So I had to go back and watch the rest of it. So I watched everything from, like, the Foley studio on. Mm-hmm. So I had no clue how this part happened, but I had heard some things. Mm-hmm. And I was like, so how are they going to do this? And then I saw it, and I was like, this is sneaky. Mm-hmm. This is... Okay, Amazing Race. I see you being a little sneaky sneaksters. Mm-hmm. But, Raquel and Kayla get it very easily. And Kim and Penn get it very easily.
I mean, Kim and Penn did go up and down the stairwell a couple of times trying to figure out what to do. And they get it. But then, like you said, Raquel and Kayla get it pretty. Finally, they look and they're like,
they stumble upon it.
Like,
oh.
And literally, like that's what everybody ends up doing is stumbling upon this code. Like, nobody just was like, let's look at the elevator.
It felt too difficult in a way because everybody happened to just stumble upon it. And this is really, truly the thing that takes Ryan and Dusty out of the competition. Because they are just not getting it.
They're not getting it. They're not understanding that what they need to look for. Mm-hmm. Which I was like, I'd probably be that one. Like, I don't know what the heck I'm looking for in this situation. Yeah. I would have been going up. It's like, is it on the stairs? Is it the numbers on the stairs? Is it, what is it? Mm-hmm. But they, like I said, Kim and Penn and Kayla and Raquel get it. And then Ryan and Dusty are looking, but they're looking all on this thing. And they keep seeing that 2 locks have been open. So they're like, oh, we're third, we're last. And so, but they can't figure it out. But eventually, everybody figures it out. But the time difference is...
It had to have been at least an hour.
It had to have been.
Based on the editing, it had to have been at least an hour.
But it was. But
it felt kind of bad, but also, like...
Not that bad. I mean, I felt bad, but I'm not that bad. Like, it's like, because I knew what I wanted.
Exactly.
But, so then they had to go to... a pinata place.
This
Place,
like open courtyard.
open courtyard with all these pinatas are there.
And
Like,
it's not a detour, it's just another task.
What's a task?
To do. And so one person has to be blindfolded, knocking down these pinatas while their teammate directs them to wherever they need to go. And they had to get, it was a taco, a paper star, and a tiny donkey. And there were big-sized donkeys, there were medium-sized donkeys, and then there were these tiny little donkeys hidden behind a couple of other pinatas. And Raquel and Kayla get it pretty easily. They're getting it. Kayla is just directing, doing exactly what needs to happen. Kim is having a bit of a difficult time figuring out which ones are the ones to hit down. And Penn, meanwhile, is just like, all of that.
Just knocking stuff down. Just like you said.
I loved by the time Kim and Penn, by the time Kim figured out what she needed to do, and by the time like Penn takes off the mask, he's like, "Was this all me?" And she's like, "Yes, yes, it was." Yep. Because Raquel and Kayla get in, do it, and get out fairly quickly. They do very, very well in this task as well. And then, Ryan and Dusty get there after, everybody else. So really, it's a 2-horse race at this point. But,
at this point, yeah.
Yeah, so you have to knock down the 3 pinatas to get 3 parts of your next clue, which takes them onto Sunset Boulevard to a Foley studio. Now, did you know what Foley was, Lana?
I did not know what Foley studio. I thought, I know what the job is, and I always thought it was just like special effects, sound effects people. Like, I never knew what they called it. I'm like, oh, these are the sound effects people. And, that's what I called it because I'm very literal in my thing, in my brain. So when I was like, they call it Foley, like, I knew it was a job. Yeah. See, like, unlike Kayla, who was like, I didn't even know this job existed in Hollywood. I'm like, baby, how you think those sound effects come along? Did you just think they be doing that live? Yeah. No, people got to be in that studio making that stuff happen.
And if I remember correctly, it's actually named after the guy who revolutionized this sort of technique. So the funny thing is with this, I was watching and I was like, oh, Foley, because a couple of years ago in college, I actually took what most people referred to the course as Intro to Foley. That's not what the course was titled, but basically it was a film course where the entire thing was special effects. And so I've actually done some of these things before. It's a lot of fun, obviously on a much more minor scale. Not nearly as big as recreating sounds from The Amazing Race, which this is one of the best tasks I've seen in a while.
I enjoy watching them do it, and I enjoy watching those clips and those, because I was like, I remember when all of that happened, and it was so funny. And so to hear them put the sound effects to that was
because it was some of the best moments. Obviously, the watermelon slingshot, we all know that moment. My ox is broken. This is bullshit. Is amazing. Like the running of the bulls, I do remember that one specifically. I was like, this is cute. But I loved this whole Foley moment because I was like, oh, I've done things like this before. This is cute. Okay, I love this. But yeah, so they are in the Foley studio. Raquel and Kayla get there, and then Kim and Penn get there shortly after. And Raquel and Kayla are having a bit of an issue with it. Specifically Kayla. Kayla's struggling a little bit with, I think, the 3rd or 4th sound, getting the exact timing of everything. Raquel even steps in at one point and she's like, do you want me to do it? I can do it. She's like, no, I got it. And then Raquel is like, oh, don't worry. It's all good. I haven't even heard Kim and Penn. And Kayla turns to her and she goes, the door's closed. One of my favorite moments of the whole season, by far, no questions asked, one of my favorite moments of the season. So Kim and Penn are getting in there. Both teams are really struggling with this. Penn keeps talking through everything, and so they're failing every time, and Kim's getting a little bit annoyed at this point. because Penn keeps talking and like being like 100% genuine, like trying to ready up so that way they know when the next ones are coming. But in doing that, he's failing the recording for them. And so I just thought that was so funny. And Kim's like, yeah, you can't talk. Just thought it was so good. But yes, eventually Raquel and Kayla do get through the task first, marginally. There's a bit of a margin. Kim and Penn get it shortly after. And then I do want to talk about the boys doing this task because they seem to get through it fairly easily. They also it's definitely a learning curve with things like this. From what they showed on the show. So it was definitely like a bit of a learning curve with the boys as well, but they do get through it in whatever time they ended up getting it. But they move on and we go to the final task. I don't think they necessarily know it was the final task, but I think they could assume that it was the final task. And it, as always with The Amazing Race, the final task is a memory task about the things that you have experienced on The Amazing Race. And so in this case, you have to take they're in the LA Galaxy stadium. That's a word.
Oh
I had the right first two letters.
Not
studio. The LA Galaxy studio. Of course, Lana, you know the one, the LA Galaxy studio.
Mm-hmm.
But they have to take these tennis rackets, match them up with different like vague clues of things that have happened over the race. But the tricky part is there are multiple pictures that could be associated with each task. And so Raquel and Kayla get there first because while they're getting out of the Foley task, they get instructions from a guy. And then Kim and Penn run out and they're like, wait, hold on, we're going to the same place. And I'm like, that's okay. And then Raquel is like, we should have just told him not to give them information. And I'm like, it's like a race for $1 million, but also like it felt kind of weird. They get stuck in traffic as well. There's a whole like, oh my God, is traffic gonna influence what happens? Oh no. But yeah, so they have the memory challenge on the tennis courts, and this damn coin from Greece strikes again.
This coin was
and then it was the candy as well for Raquel and Kayla specifically. They just could not get the candy. Kim and Penn try like 17 different combinations with different coins just to see if
they just kept getting like going worse. And like every time they would hear, fault, they would just get worse. Like they would change I'm like literally except Kayla and Raquel had the candy they needed to switch and the coin. And Kim and Penn had the coin, but they kept switching everything else: the car, the Napoleon, just everything. And I'm like, it's just the coin.
And this is the moment where Kim truly shines in this entire season, because we find out at this point that she has drawn images of things that have happened on every single leg up until this point. I'm like, that's smart. Because I would have written things down had I had the opportunity to. But she went ahead and drew everything. And I'm like, that's incredibly smart. Like, kudos to her for thinking of doing that, because I don't think a lot of people on The Amazing Race have, like, if they've done it, they haven't talked about it. And so it comes down to this damn coin from Greece. And we get the winners of season 33 of The Amazing Race. Kim and Penn, the oldest team to win The Amazing Race.
I was very happy for them. I'm very excited for them. And yeah, like I said, Kim shined. The fact that she drew everything and studied everything and remembered everything, like the memory that she had to think to do that after every leg, It's crazy because
Right.
I wouldn't remember we were in a blue car at the end of that leg. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. But
Exactly.
she had to remember a blue car with Napoleon and this type of, whatever thing. And so kudos to Kim for being
Truly.
the rock right there and being clutch and coming in like strong and doing that for them. That helped them leaps and bounds. Even when they had to guess on some things and figure out and shuffle some things around, they still had an idea of where to go. So kudos to Kim and Penn. Congratulations to Kim and Penn. Well deserved. 4 first place wins. Well, 5 when you count the major win. 5 first place wins to win it all. The oldest couple to ever do it. They didn't give up. They didn't stop. They never quit. I just say,
I'm just happy a woman in some capacity won the season. That's all I wanted. So
I'm very happy that I'm very happy that a woman won. I'm happy that this couple won because they're a lovely couple. I'm happy that throughout this race they stayed strong. Like neither one of them were putting each other down, even when it was frustrating. They weren't yelling at each other. They get frustrated, but it wasn't anything to a point of where it made me like, you know what? Who you talking to? I ain't have to say that to no one from neither Kim nor Penn. They and the fact we've said it, but we'll say it again. The fact that they're the oldest couple to ever do this and do it well and do it dominantly. I say congrats to them and hats off to them and well-deserved win.
Very. I had to feel for Raquel and Kayla in this moment as well, though. And you could tell they were just...
they were deflated.
Very.
The second they heard game, set, match on the other side, they were deflated.
Like, we're done. Yep, it's over. And we were that close. And fucking Greece. They're never going to go to Greece. They are never going to go to Greece ever again. Never traveling to Greece. And the boys get third in a very, I'm gonna say humbling situation. Honestly, it seemed to have like mellowed them out. Truly, they were thankful for the experience, but that's it.
I mean, it's nothing really you could say at that point. When you're done, you're done. It's like. You know what? Let's just enjoy these last few minutes, these last few hours on this race together. We're not winning the race, but just think about what we did. We traveled the world, or we traveled Europe, as many countries as we could. And we got to see places that we could never go see on our own. So in those times, you just look back on it and enjoy it for what it is. And at least you can say you finished. You finished the race. So...
Well, that's it. We're done. Amazing Race 33 is done. We have a winner.
Kim and Penn.
Yeah. I'm going to miss seeing Phil Kogan on my screen every week, but we've got Jeff Probst on our screen now, so it's not the same, but
it's okay.
It's a good alternative. We still have good old Jonathan LaPaglia down in Australia holding down the fort down there. So I'm happy
we got Arissa Cox in Canada.
Yes.
Queen.
Truly that. And all of those people host shows that we're currently covering on The Cup Reality. So make sure to tune in for all of our other content. We're doing BB Can. We're doing Survivor. We're doing Australian Survivor. We'll be doing Survivor South Africa when it comes eventually. If they do Amazing Race Canada this year, if we can watch it, maybe we'll review it. Who knows? We'll be here doing Amazing Race things if Amazing Race things are available for us to do. So with that is what we think about the finale of Amazing Race 33. Let us know in the comments what y'all think. Give us all your thoughts. Thank you for joining us for this season. We've wrapped the second season of things that we've done for the Cup. Yeah. And second or third. There's a couple. I don't know.
Many more to come.
Very that. So with that, cheers. Lana.
Cheers, my love.
Boom.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye now.
Goodbye now. Bye.